Ever taken a trip to Ocean City? Well, if you have, then chances are you've passed through my hometown of Cordova. Hi, my name is Christine, and I'm from the Eastern Shore. I had what everyone probably would call a normal childhood. I had two hardworking parents who worked hard to provide for my sister and I. They worked hard to instill the same values and the beliefs that they were raised in. My life has been full of ups and downs. The birth of my daughter was such a joy, and it was followed by the death of my father and my sister. This is all what made me who I am today. When I tell you Cordova is a small town, I am not being modest. It is mainly made out of acres of farmland. There is, however, one mom and pop store that specializes in liquor or sandwiches. I can remember spending most of my summers barefoot running around my neighborhood, which consisted mostly of my family. This is also where I formed a strong church foundation. I was grown in the church, basically. Both of my parents were Sunday school teachers, as was my grandmother. And I believe it is my church upbringing that instilled in me the desire to want to serve others. After I graduated high school in 2001, I followed in my parents' footsteps and I started to work full-time, despite my goal of being a college graduate as the first in my family. In 2009, almost 10 years later, I finally decided to enroll in college. I enrolled in the nursing program at Chesapeake. I was able to find a rhythm at first, and classes seemed easy, but as they progressed, I got overwhelmed. After failing 2 quizzes in Anatomy 2, I just gave up. It's my biggest regret to this day. After dropping out of college, I found a job as a nursing assistant at a local nursing home. I truly enjoy my job. I worked on the dementia unit. Every day was a challenge working with these special people, and sometimes I would have to keep a certain little lady from ramming people with her walker, but I felt fortunate and happy with what I was doing. Soon after starting my job, I found out I was pregnant. It was a surprise, and it wasn't a surprise, if you know what I mean. After the first trimester's appointment, I learned some troubling news. My doctor told me I had a 1 in 44 chance that my child could have Down syndrome. He referred me to a genetics counselor. I can remember feeling so scared heading to that first appointment. She brought me into her office to tell me what my choices were. I could get an amniocentesis, I could monitor the baby's bone growth through ultrasound, or lastly, I could abort it. I chose to monitor the baby after months of worrying. I delivered a beautiful, healthy baby girl. It was the best moment of my life. They say if you don't have the bad times, you cannot appreciate the good times. 3 years ago, I lost 2 special people in my life, my dad and my sister. We first lost my sister to a pulmonary embolism. My dad took her death the hardest. Sadly, 3 months later, my dad died of a heart attack. Their loss has left such a hole in my life that it will never be filled. Thankfully, faith and family have gotten us through. It wasn't until this time that I realized just how strong my mother was and what a true inspiration she is for my daughter and I. Yet these life events couldn't have prepared me for the past year that we had during this pandemic. It has been devastating at the nursing home that I work. We lost half of our residents and a coworker. The days were tireless and backbreaking. It was finally then when I decided enough of this job and I enrolled back in college, but this time in the radiology program. Didn't want to be a nurse anymore after what I saw. So here I am today in my 30s and attempting my hand at college once again, but this time it will be different. My journey has not been easy. There have been many ups and downs. It's the choices that I have made at each of those times that have helped me shape what I have learned and who I am. I am proof that you should always keep going and never give up.